Starting with the presidential file, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a press conference on Friday with the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo. During the press conference, President Sisi asserted that the joint tripartite talks with Sanchez and De Croo tackled the latest developments in Gaza Strip. President Sisi expressed his hope that the humanitarian truce in Gaza would be extended to ensure the entry of more aid to the Strip. President Sisi also stressed the importance of having safe zones in Gaza to provide secure places for those who lost their houses. The president also reiterated Egypt's firm stance toward the displacement of the Palestinians outside the Gaza Strip. For his part, the Spanish Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for Egypt's role in calming the situation, stressing the necessity of delivering the relief and humanitarian aid to the people in the Gaza Strip and extend the truce. Meanwhile, the Belgian Prime Minister thanked President Sisi for Egypt's role to evacuate the Belgian citizens from Gaza and stressed the necessity of delivering aid to the Gaza Strip. Later, Sanchez and De Croo visited Rafah border crossing where they held a press conference. After concluding talks with the Spanish and Belgian Prime Ministers, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held an inspection tour in Giza Governorate in the framework of the President's keenness to follow up the developmental efforts in Egypt. The President inspected Amr ibn al-As axis, which connects the South Ring Road with the North Ring Road above Al-Uruba, Tirsa and the Faisal Streets in Giza Governorate. During the tour, the President was keen to hold a dialogue with the citizen and his family. Earlier, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended Long Live Egypt Palestine event at Cairo International Stadium. Addressing the attendees, President Sisi said the Arab region is facing difficult challenges and serious escalation in the Palestinian cause. The President affirmed that Egypt had exerted utmost efforts in supporting the Palestinians and intensified communications with its regional and international partners during the past days. President Sisi also stressed that Egypt would never agree on forced displacement for the people of Gaza, adding that Egypt has never closed the Rafah crossing and will continue opening it for convoying humanitarian aid to Gaza. Earlier, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi welcomed the success of the mediation Egypt conducted alongside Qatar and the United States in brokering a humanitarian truce in the Gaza Strip. On his social media account, President Sisi also welcomed planned exchange of hostages for prisoners. The President also stressed that Egypt will continue to exert efforts to reach final and sustainable solutions that achieve justice and impose peace and guarantee the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. Head of the State Information Service, Dia Rashwan, said Gaza truce would start on Friday at 7 a.m. Rashwan said Egypt had received a list of hostages from Palestinian and Israeli sides, which will be freed on the first day of hostages exchange. Rashwan noted that Egyptian communications and consultations are continuing with all parties regarding the truce agreed upon to take effect in the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, Egyptian aid convoys to Gaza lined in El Arish city ahead of entering into the Strip through the Rafah border crossing. An Egyptian source said hundreds of humanitarian aid trucks would enter Gaza during the 4-day truce. The National Election Authority said that it launched the database of the polling stations of the upcoming presidential elections through its website. Earlier, the authority said it concluded the necessary preparations and procedures of the upcoming presidential elections abroad, which will be held from the 1st to the 3rd of December at the headquarters of the Egyptian diplomatic missions and consulates. The elections abroad are held in 137 embassies and consulates in 121 countries across the world. The campaign of presidential candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi visited injured Gulf zones in Al Arish Hospital. Head of the campaign, Councillor Mahmoud Fawzi, visited the injured and asserted the presidential candidate's keenness to continue Egypt's historic role to reach a just and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian cause. The campaign also held a press conference at Rafah border crossing. Meanwhile, the Congress Party in Gharbiya Governorate and the coordination of youth parties and politicians organized a mass conference in the city of Tanta within the framework of supporting the presidential candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the upcoming presidential elections. The attendees affirmed their support for presidential candidate Sisi in the upcoming presidential elections and to complete the development process and build the new republic. Meanwhile, presidential candidate Farid Zahran held a press conference in Idfu in Aswan Governorate. During the conference, Zahran reviewed his electoral campaign, which is based on political, economic, and social axes. Meanwhile, the official page of the candidate of Republican People's Party in the upcoming presidential elections, Hazem Omar, published his economic program. The program includes reforming of the state's general budget, improving tax policies, increasing production and social services, and expanding the participation of the private sector in various domains.